Hello everyone, today I am going to solve all the questions of the Civil Service 2018 preliminary of paper 1. This is the paper 1 of General Studies. Now we have the set B, so we go in depth to the questions and answer all the questions from my point of view, and if any error, please pardon me and go ahead. So guys, have a look inside the questions. The first question is, which of the following led to the introduction of English education in India? The option is Charter Act of 1813, Central Committee of Public Administration 1823, Orientalist and Anglicist controversy. Select the correct answer from the code given below. Now we have to select the correct answer from A, B, C, D. A, B, C, D. The correct answer is C. So this is the answer from the question 1. Now we go to the second option. Which of the following is an artificial lake? Kodaikanal, Tamil Nadu; Kolero, Andhra Pradesh; Nainital, Uttarakhand; Renuka, Himachal Pradesh. The correct answer is Kodaikanal, which is from Tamil Nadu. Number 3, with reference to Pradhan Mantri Kushal Vikas Yojana, consider the following statement. These are the options which we correct from 1 to 3. It is a flagship scheme of the Ministry of Labour and Employment. It, among other things, will also impart training in soft skill, entrepreneurship, financial and digital literacy. Number 3, it aims to align the competencies of the unregulated workforce of the country to the national skill qualification framework. Now we have to choose the correct answer from A, B, C, D option. Which of the statement given above are correct? Number 1, 2, 3, 4. Now we have to choose the correct answer. The correct answer is 2 and 3. So it, among other things, will also impart training in soft skill, entrepreneurship, financial and digital literacy, and it aims to align competencies of the unregulated workforce of the country to national skill qualification framework. So the answer is C. Now we have to go to the question number 4. In 1920, which of the following changed its name to Swarajya Sabha? So the option is All India Home Rule League, Hindutva Mahasabha, South Indian Liberal Federation, the Servants of the Indian Economy. The correct answer is All India Home Rule League. So number 5, which of the following events happened earliest? Now, before answer this question, we have to know any chronological order, so you have to make timeline while preparing any kind of examination. So the option is Swami Dayanand established Arya Samaj, Dinabandhu Mitra wrote Nil Darpan, this is a very famous book. Bankim Chandra Chaturvedi wrote Anand Math, it is also one of the famous books. Satyendra Tagore became the first Indian to succeed in the civil service examination. So the correct answer is Nil Darpan. Nil Darpan is also one of the famous books you have to read. It is a great book from my point of view. So the answer is B. Now we have to go to the number 6. Which of the following are possible consequence of heavy sand mining in the riverbed? Generally we said that there are lots of sand mining in the river will happen in nowadays, which is very bad for our ecosystem. So the option is decreased salinity in the river, pollution of groundwater, lowering and water. So the logical is pollution of groundwater, lowering of water table. Decrease of salinity is not the logical. It happened due to so many factors. So the correct answer is 2 and 3. Now we have to click the answer B. Now number 7, with reference to agricultural skill, consider the following statement. These are the statements. A high content of organic matter in soil drastically reduces its water holding capacity. Soil does not play any role in the sulfur cycle. Irrigation over a period of time can contribute to the salination of some acyl cell length. Which of the statement is correct? The correct answer is number 2 from my point of view. So the answer is B. Sorry. Now we go to the question number 8. The Partnership for Action on Green Economy page. This is the abbreviation of Partnership for Action on Green Economy, a UN mechanism to assist countries' transition towards a greener and more inclusive economic regard. The option is the Earth Summit on Sustainable Development 2002 Johannesburg, the United Nations Conference on Sustainable Development 2012 Rio de Janeiro, the United Nations Framework Convention on Climate Change 2015 in Paris, the World Sustainable Development Summit 2016 New Delhi. The correct answer is Rio de Janeiro, which is very famous summit for the sustainable development. It is conducted by the United Nations Conference. So the answer is B. Now we have to go to the question number 9. 3D printing has application in which of the following? These are the options: preparation of confectionery items, manufacture of bionic arts, automotive industry, reconstructive surgeries, data processing technology. Now we have to select from this option the correct one. Select the correct answer using the code given below. 1, 2, 3, 4. The correct answer is all of this method has a great applicable in 3D printing. So the correct answer is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So the correct answer is D. Now we have to go to the question number 10. Consider the following statement: the Barren Island volcano is an active volcano located in the Indian territory. The Barren Island, which is very famous island for volcanic activity in Indian territory, which is situated in the Indian Ocean. Barren Island lies about 140 km east of Great Nicobar. This is Andaman Nicobar also called. The last time in Barren Island volcano erupted was in 1991 and it has remained inactive since then. Which is the correct given above is correct. So we have to choose the correct answer. The correct answer is number 1, because Barren Island is one of the great island of volcanic activity will be happened in near future. It is situated in the Indian Ocean. So the correct answer is number 1. Now the question number 11. Why is a plant called Prolifius zulifera often mentioned in the news? This is one of the term. Prolifius zulifera is often used in the news. Now we have to choose the correct answer. It extract is widely used in cosmetic. Is it used in cosmetics? It tends to reduce the biodiversity in the area which it grows. Is it reduce the ecosystem in where it will grow to happen? It extract is used in the synthesis of pesticides. None of the above. The correct answer is B. Prolifius zulifera is one of the term which is used in any kind of biodiversity, in any kind of ecosystem, in where the biodiversity of the area will reduce in a great amount. So the correct answer is B. Now we have to go to the question number 12. Consider the following statement: most of the world coral reefs are in the tropical water. We always know that coral reefs are always in the shallow water, tropical water. More than 1/3 of the world coral reef are located in the territories of Australia, Indonesia, Philippines. It is one of the great answer, because coral reef is mostly found in the southern part of the Indian Ocean, and also it is also found in northeast of Indian Ocean. Coral reefs host far more number of animal phyla than those hosted by tropical rainforests. Coral reef is one of the great area in where most number of animal phyla is there, because the phyla from algae and also relieve high tides, which is coming from the ocean. So the correct answer is 1, 2, 3. So the answer is D. Now answer of the question number 13. Momentum for Change Climate Neutral Now is an initiative launched by Intergovernmental Panel on Climate Change, UNEP Secretariat, UN FCC, it's a climate organization, World Meteorological Organization. The correct answer is United Nations Framework Climate Change Secretariat. With reference to educational institution during the colonial rule in India, consider following pairs. Institution, founder. Now we have to choose the correct. Is it the colleges will be found by this founder? Sanskrit College of Benares, William Jones. Calcutta Madrasa, Warren Hastings. Fort William College, Arthur Harsley. The correct answer is 2. Warren Hastings established or is the founder of the Calcutta Madrasa. So the question of this answer is B. Now we have to go to the question number 15. Consider the following regions sometimes mentioned in the news. Country. Now we have to choose the regions in which country is this located. Catalonia, Spain. Crimea, Hungary. Mindanao, Philippines. Oromia, Nigeria. Which of the following pairs correctly match? The correctly match answer is Catalonia, Spain, and Mindanao, Philippines. So the answer is C. Now we have to go to the answer of the question 16. Which of the following statement correctly describes the meaning of the legal tender money? It is a very simple question. Now I read options. The money which is tendered in court of law to defray the fee of legal cases. The money which is creditor is under compulsion to accept the settlement of his claim. It is the correct answer from my point of view. The bank money in the form of checks, draft bills of exchange. It is not a logical one. The metallic money in circulation of the country. So the correct answer is B. The money which is creditor in under compulsion to accept the settlement of his claim. It is only a type of claim. Legal money is authorized to claim because the main money is circulated in number. Now we have to go to the question number 17. If a commodity is provided free to public by the government, then the opportunity cost is 0. It is not a logical one. The opportunity cost is ignored. It is not a logical one because the opportunity cost is not ignored by any government. The opportunity cost is transferred from the consumer of the product to the taxpaying public. The opportunity cost is transferred from the consumer of the product to the government. The correct answer is opportunity cost always transferred to the taxpaying public from the consumer. So the correct answer is C. Number 18. Increase in absolute and per capita real GNP, gross nominal product, cannot a high level of economic development if industrial output fails to keep pace with agricultural output fails to keep pace with industrial output, poverty and unemployment excesses, import grow faster than export. The correct answer is poverty. Always real gross nominal product is measured when the country is totally free from poverty and unemployment. So the correct answer is C. Question number 19 is consider the following statement. Human capital formation as a concept is better explained in terms of a process which enables individuals of a country to accumulate more capital. Is it happening? No. Increase the knowledge, skill levels and capacities of the people of the country. Yes. Accumulation tangible wealth. It is not logical one. Accumulation of intangible wealth. So the answer is 1 and 4. 2 and 4. So the correct answer is number C. Now question number 20. Despite being a high saving economy, capital formation may not result in significant increase in output due to weak administrative machinery, illiteracy, high population density, high capital output ratio. So the answer is D, high capital output ratio. Now the question number 21. After the Santhal uprising subsided, what were the measures taken by the colonial government? The territories called Santhal Parganas were created. It is on the correct answer. It became illegal for the Santhal to transfer land to a non-central. This is nowadays it will happen in Arunachal Pradesh. So the correct answer is 1 and 2. Central land is totally restricted for the communities central. It is one of the best measures taken by the colonial government to curb the central uprising. So the correct answer is 1 and 2. So we have to take the number C. Now question number 22. Economically, one of the results of the British rule in India in the 19th century was increase in the export of Indian handicraft, growth in the number of Indian owned factories, no export, no number of factories, commercialization of Indian agriculture, rapid increase in urban population. No, it will lead to rural population too many ways. The correct answer is C, commercialization of Indian agriculture, because British always wants to commercialize the Indian agriculture for exporting raw material from India to Britain. So the correct answer is C. If the President of India exercises his power as provided under Article 56 of the Constitution in respect of a particular state, then the Assembly of the state is automatically dissolved. No, the powers of the legislature of that state shall be exercised by under the authority of the Parliament. Article 19 suspended in that state. No, Article 19 is not suspended. The President can make laws relating to the Parliament. The President can make laws relating to the Parliament by the President can make law relating to the state by the Parliament. So the correct answer is C. The powers of the legislature of the state shall be exercised is under the authority of the Parliament, through the authority of the Parliament by the President. So the correct answer is B. Now 24. Consider following pairs kept and heritage site: Pathakuli Souls, Tamil Nadu; Sisni Embroidery, Maharashtra; Upadana Jamdani Series, Karnataka. The correct answer is number 1, Pathakuli Souls, Tamil Nadu. So the correct answer is A. In which of the following areas can GPS technology is a mobile phone operation? You always know that banking operation, because in today modern bank, GPS is one of the inevitable method to perform its operation controlling the power grid. Power grid is one of the method by which GPS controlling the whole system. So the correct answer is 1, 2, 3. Mobile phone operations, banking operations, controlling the power grid. So the correct answer is D, 1, 2, 3. Now the question number 26. Consider the following statement: the Reserve Bank of India manages and services Government of India's securities but not any state government security. It is not true. Treasury bills are issued by the Government of India and they are not treasury bills issued by the state government. Yes, it is one of the correct answer, because treasury bills are always issued by the Government of India and there is no state authority to issue any kind of treasury bills. Number 3. Treasury bills are issued at the discount from the par value. Treasury bills always offer from the par value or the main value. So the correct answer is 2 and 3. So the option is C. Consider the following statement: the Earth's magnetic field has reversed every few 100,000 of years. It is one of the correct answer, because the Earth's magnetic field is always changing its position in 1,000 years. When the Earth was created more than 400 million years ago, Earth was created 400 million years ago, but there was no 54% oxygen and no carbon dioxide. There is also carbon dioxide in that period. When living organisms originated, they are modified in the early atmosphere of the Earth. Living organisms, when created in the Earth atmosphere, they always will be happen in the atmosphere. So the correct answer is 1 and 3. So we have to take number C. Now question number 28. The terms WannaCry, PETA and Eternal Blue, sometimes mentioned in the news recently related to exoplanet, cryptocurrency, cyber attack, mini satellite. The correct answer is cyber attack, because WannaCry is one of the methods by which US and Israel applied in case of Iran nuclear facility. So the correct answer is cyber attack. Wanaka is one of the method in where the undisclosed information will easily available from this WannaCry. So the correct answer is C. With reference to the circumstances of Indian agriculture, the concept of conservation of agriculture assumes significance. Which of the following fall under the conservation of agriculture? Avoiding the monoculture practices, adopting minimum tillage, avoiding the cultivation of plantation of crops, using crop residue to cover soil surface, adopting spatial and temporal crop sequence crop rotation. So the correct answer is 1, 2, 3, 5. This is not the correct answer. We should not use any kind of residues to cover the soil surface. So the correct answer is avoiding the monoculture practice. Monoculture practices is recently used in Indian context. Minimum tillage is one of the correct answer. Avoiding the cultivation of plantation crops, yeah. Adaptation of spatial and temporal crop sequencing and crop rotation. So the correct answer is D. The term 6 months extension is often mentioned in the news. In the context of 6 months is used in the news for humans over exploitation of natural resources, destruction of natural resources, climate, and due to this effect global climate change will happen. Now we have to check this one from A to D. Widespread monoculture practices in agriculture and large-scale commercial farming with indiscriminate use of chemicals in many parts of the world, and that may result in the loss of good native ecosystem. No fears of possible collision of material with the earth in the near future in the manner it happened 65 million years ago that caused the mass extinction of many species including those of dinosaurs. No, it is for over exploitation of natural resources. The 6 mass extinction is used in the news. Large-scale cultivation of genetically modified crops in many parts of the world, promoting their cultivation in other parts of the world, which may cause disappearance of good native crop plants and the loss of food biodiversity. No. And the next one, mankind overexploitation, misuse of natural resources, fragmentation, loss of natural habitat, destruction of ecosystem, polluting and global climate change. So the correct answer is D. Now we have to put the D. Consider the following. Consider the following: areca nut, barley, coffee, finger millet, groundnut, sesame, turmeric. Which of the following by the government of India offer minimum support price? The Cabinet Committee on Economic Affairs has announced the minimum support price for which of the above? Areca nut, barley, coffee, finger millet, groundnut, sesame, turmeric. The correct answer is barley, coffee, finger millet, and sesame. So we have to put tick mark on the question of this option B. In which of the following state is Pukri Wildlife Sanctuary is located? Pukri is one of the famous wildlife sanctuary of Northeast India. Pukri. This is a simple answer. Pukri Wildlife Sanctuary is situated in Arunachal Pradesh. With reference to the India's satellite launch vehicle, which of the following statement? PSB launched the satellite useful for Earth resources monitoring, whereas GSLV Earth diagnosis designed mainly to launch communication satellite. Satellite launched by VSLV appear to remain permanently fixed in the same position in the sky as viewed from particular location on Earth. GSLV Mark III is a 4-stage launch vehicle with the first and third stage using solid rocket motors and the second and fourth stage using liquid rocket engines. The correct answer is this one, number 1. PSLV is used for monitoring the Earth resources and GSLV is used for communication. So the correct answer is 1. Now we have to put tick mark on option A. With reference to the governments of public sector banking in India, consider following statement: capital infusion into public sector banking by the government of India has steadily increased in the last decade. To put the public sector bank in order, the merger of associate bank with the parent State Bank of India has been effected. So the correct answer is number 2. Number 2 is to put the public sector bank in order. The merger of associate bank with the State Bank of India has been effected, like Bikaner Bank, Bank of Maharashtra, etc. These are the bank which merged in the State Bank of India. So the correct answer is B. Consider following items: cereal, grains, halt, chicken, egg, cooked fish processed, and canned newspaper containing advertisement material. Which of the following items are exempted from GST, goods and service tax? Which of the following items are exempted under GST, goods and services? The correct answer is cereal, grains, fish processed, chicken, egg, cooked, newspaper containing advertisement. Now we have to choose the correct answer. The correct answer is 1, 2, and 3, because cereal, grains, halt is exempted from GST, chicken, eggs exempted from GST, newspaper containing advertisement is exempted from BC, but fish processing can is not exempted from GST. So the correct answer is 1, 3, 4. Now we have to put tick mark on question number C. Consider following statement: the definition of critical wildlife habitat is incorporated in the Forest Act 2006. Yes, for the first time, bikers have been given habitat right. Yes, these two options are yes. Under Ministry of Environment, Forest and Climate Change officially decides and declare habitat rights for primitive and vulnerable types of any part of India. This is not the correct answer. This is done by Home Ministry and STSC Commission. So the correct answer is definition of critical wildlife habitat is incorporated in the Forest Act 2016. For the first time in India, bikers have been given habitat right. So correct answer is 1 and 2. Now we have to put tick mark on the option A. Now question number 39. Consider the following: birds, Dutch bowling, rain, wind blowing. Which of the above spread plant disease? These are all answers which cause plant disease. Birds can cause plant disease. Dust, there are lots of dust particles which created a great impact on plant diseases. Rain is one of the major area in where plants are affected too much. Wind also create a plant disease because wind blow away many viruses, many infectious particles from the atmosphere. So the correct answer is 1, 2, 3. Birds, dust blowing, rain, and wind blowing. Now to put tick mark on D. Number 14. With reference to organic farming in India, consider following statement: the National Program for Organic Production (NPOP) is operated under guidelines and directions of the Union Ministry of Rural Development. No, it is not operated under the directions of the Rural Development. The Agriculture and Processed Food Products Export Development Authority (APIDA) function as a secretary for the implementation of the MOP. This authority is performed under the Secretariat of NPOP, National Program of Organic Production. This Agriculture and Processed Food Products Export Development Authority is used for implementation of any scheme under National Program for Organic Production. Sikkim has become India's first fully organic state. Sikkim is one of the Indian states which offer organic farm in any area, because Sikkim is one of the great area in where natural habitat, natural condition, natural area will prevail. So Sikkim try to maintain its position into organic one. So due to this, Sikkim is the first state in India in where all kind of area will be farmed in organic method. So the correct answer is 2 and 3. Now we have to put tick mark on D. Now question number 41. Consider the following statement in the Lok Sabha. First Lok Sabha. The single largest party in the opposition was the Swatantra Party. In the Lok Sabha, a leader of the opposition was recognized for the first time in 1969. In the Lok Sabha, if a party does not have a minimum of 75 members, its leader cannot be recognized as the leader of opposition. So the correct answer is 2. The leader of opposition in the Lok Sabha was recognized in 1969. So we have to put tick mark on B. Now question number 42. Which of the following leaf modification occur in the desert area to inhibit water loss? Heart and waxy leaves, yes. This is one of the features. Tiny leaves. In desert, the leaves are tiny. Thorns. Instead of leaves in desert, the leaves have thorns. There is no leaf. So the correct answer is 1, 2, 3. Now we have to put all these options. Number D. As per an SSO 70 round situation assessment survey of agricultural household, consider the following statement. Rajasthan has the highest percentage share of agricultural household among its rural household. Yes, Rajasthan has highest number of agricultural household. Out of the total agricultural household in the country, a little over 60% belong to OBC. No, in Kerala, a little over 60% of agricultural household reported to have received maximum income from resources other than agricultural activities. And sometimes people are engaged in agricultural activities, but their livelihood, their main income is originated from another activities other than agriculture. So the correct answer is 1 and 3. Do we put on C? How is National Green Tribunal different from the Central Pollution Control? National Green Tribunal is give judgment for any environmental obligation. The national, now we have to read the options. And National Green Tribunal has been established by an act which Central Pollution Board Control Board has been created by an executive order of the government. No, the National Green Tribunal provides environmental justice here and helps to reduce the burden of litigation in the higher court, whereas Central Pollution Control Board promotes cleanliness of streams, wells, and aims to improve the quality of air in the country. Yes, so the correct answer is 2. Now to put on B. Now question number 45. Consider following statement. The Parliament of India can place a particular law in the 9th schedule of the Constitution of India. The validity of the law placed in the 9th schedule cannot be examined by any court and no judgment can be made in it. Whenever there is any law, it is challenged in the apex court and it is also subject to judicial review. So the correct answer is not this. The correct answer is Parliament of India can place particular law in the 9th schedule of Constitution of India. So the correct answer is 1. Now to put tick mark on 1. 46. Which of the following best describe the merchant discount rate? Merchant discount rate is used for charging by a bank to the customer for using debit card. Now read the options. The incentive given by a bank to the merchant for accepting payment through debit card pertaining to that bank. No, the amount paid by the bank to their customers when they use debit card for financial transaction for purchasing goods and services. The change to a merchant by a bank. The charge to a merchant by a bank for accepting payment from his customer through the bank debit card. The incentive given by a bank to merchant for promoting digital payment of their customer through point of scale, POS machine and debit card. No, the correct answer is the charge to a merchant by bank for accepting payment from his customer through bank's debit card. So the correct answer is C. Question number 47. What are the consequence of a country becoming the member of the nuclear supply group? Energy is one of the great topic which India tried to annul for many years. It is one of the huge topic in the Indian context from diplomatic point of view. The option is it will access to the latest and most efficient nuclear technology. Yes, it automatically becomes a member of the Treaty of the Non-Proliferation Nuclear Weapon. Non-Proliferation Nuclear Weapon (NPT) is one of the treaty in where another services and areas will be there to become a member of NPT. So the correct answer is access to latest and most efficient technology, because it merges with the P5 countries, because P5 countries is always sophisticated in terms of nuclear technology, because they are the most advanced countries in the world. And when India become member of the nuclear suppliers group, they are integrated with P5 country, and due to this India have to access latest and most efficient nuclear technology. So the correct answer is 1. Now to put tick mark on A. With reference to the India's decision on levy an equalization tax of 6% on online advertisement services offered by a non-resident entity, which of the following statement is correct? When 6% tax is levied on non-residential India, the correct answer is that non-resident entity that offer advertisement services in India can claim a tax in their home country, like Vodafone, under the double taxation advance agreement. This is the correct answer. It is not a part of the Income Tax Act. When like Vodafone, they claim another tax credit in their home country due to services provided in India. So the correct answer is 2. So to put tick mark on B. Now enroll the question number 49. Consider the following statement: the fiscal responsibility and budget management. Fiscal responsibility and budget management (FRBM) review committee report has recommended a debt to GDP ratio of 60% for the general combined government by 2023, comprising 40% for the central government and 20% for the state government. Number 2. The central government has domestic liability of 21% of GDP as compared to that 49% of GDP of the state government. No. As per the Constitution of India, it is mandatory for a state to take central government consent for raising any loan if the former owes any outstanding liability to the latter. Yes, state government have always take consent from the state government if they have any liability. So the correct answer is 3 and number 1. The fiscal responsibility and budget management review committee report to recommend a debt of GDP ratio of 60% for the general combined government by 2023, comprising 40% for the central government and 20% for the state government. So we have to put tick mark on the option C. Then question number 50. Consider the following statement: the quantity of imported edible oil is more than the domestic production of edible oil in the last 5 years. Yes, this is happening. Lots of edible oil is imported from Africa. The government does not impose any custom duty on all the imported edible oil as a special case. There should not be any product which the government did not impose any custom duty. All imported products should have a custom duty, but in special cases some products are not in custom duty, they are exempted from custom duty. But in case of edible oil, custom duty will be imposed, and lots of edible oil is imported to India. Then India produce in the last 5 years. So the correct answer is number 1. The quantity of imported edible oil is more than the domestic production of edible oil in the last 5 years. So we have to put tick on A. 51. He wrote a biography of Majani, Garibaldi, Shivaji, Sri Krishna, stayed in America for some years and was also elected to the Central Assembly. He was Arvind Ghosh, Bipin Chandra Pal, Alaspate Motil Nehru. The correct answer is Bipin Chandra Pal. Consider the following statement: Aadhaar card can be used as a proof of citizenship or domicile. No, Aadhaar is not the proof of citizenship or domicile. There are lots of identification card which is proved as a citizenship or domicile, like passport, voter ID, bank passbook, etc. That is also one of the card which is used as a proof, but there are lots of identity card which is used as a proof. Number 2, once issued Aadhaar number cannot be deactivated or omitted by the issuing authority. Aadhaar number is also deactivated or omitting by the agency which offered Aadhaar card to any person. Aadhaar is subject to cancel. So the answer is neither 1 or 2. So we have to put tick on D. Which of the following have shrunk immensely or dried up in the recent past due to human activity? There are lots of human activity due to which many climate change will take place, as well as the sea level is also dried up and the salinity will increase. So we have to now see the option RLC, Black Sea and Lake Baikal. The correct answer is RL and Lake Baikal. Lake Baikal is one of the lake in where lots of salinity will be found, due to which there is over evaporation take place due to human activity. So the correct answer is RLC and Lake Baikal. So we have to put tick mark on D. Rule of Law Index is released by the which of Amnesty International Court of Justice, Office of the United Nations Commissioner for Human Rights, World Justice Report. Human Rule of Index, like Human Development Index. Human Rule of Index is reported, delivered, justified by a World Justice Report or project, World Justice Project. So the correct answer is D. Which of the following links all the ATM of India? Indian Bank Association, National Security Deposit Limited, National Payment Corporation India is a Bank of India. All ATMs are linked with National Payment Corporation of India. You can also see in the van, car, or any kind of vehicle in where the cash is delivered to one ATM to another ATM from bank. This car is run by the corporation name National Payment Corporation of India. So the correct answer is C. Now question number 56, regarding money bill, which of the following statement is not correct? A bill shall be deemed to be a money bill if it contains only provision relating to imposition, abolition, emission, alteration, or regulation of any tax. No, a bill has provision for custody of the consolidated fund of India or the contingency fund of India. No, money bill has no custody. Money bill is introduced in the parliament, and after that it is appropriated from the contingency fund of India. Money bill is concerned with the appropriation money out of the contingency fund of India. Yeah, this is the correct answer. But we have to see D, because D also deals with some clue with this question. A money bill deals with the regulation of borrowing of money or giving of any guarantee by the government of India. No, money bill is also concerned with the appropriation only. It's out from the contingency fund of India. So we have to put tick on C. Number 57, with reference to the election of President of India, consider following statement: the value of vote of its MLA varies from state to state. Yeah, the value of vote is always varies from state to state. Like state like Goa and Uttar Pradesh, the value of vote for the election of president from each MLA from Uttar Pradesh is greater than the each MLA from Goa. So the correct answer is 1. Now we look into this. Number 2, the value of vote of MP is Lok Sabha is more than the value of vote of MP of Rajya. No, this is not the logic one. So the correct answer is 1. The value of each vote of MP is varies from state to state. So to put tick mark on option A. Number 58, in the Indian context, what is the implication of referring of additional protocol with the International Atomic Energy Agency (IAEA)? The civilian nuclear reactor comes under International Atomic Energy Agency safeguard. The nuclear installation come under the inspection of IAEA. The country will have the privileges to buy uranium from the nuclear supply group. No. Also we have now buy uranium from Australia, Canada, and many other countries. The country automatically becomes the member of energy. No, this is not a criteria for becoming energy automatically. The correct answer is the civilian nuclear reactor come under International Atomic Energy Agency safeguard. So the correct answer is D, but B is not true. Military installation is permitted to IAEA only special for reasons. So the correct answer is D. The nuclear reactor comes under IAEA safeguard due to additional protocol of the International Atomic Energy Agency. So we have to put tick mark on A. Consider from a statement: Australia, Canada, China, India, Japan, USA. Which of the above are among the fitted partners with ASEAN? Look, the ASEAN countries is related to Southeast Asia and beyond Australia. So we have to see the countries which are situated in the Indo-Pacific area. So the Indo-Pacific countries is Australia, China, India, Japan, and not Canada and USA. So the correct answer is Japan, India, China, Australia. So we have to see 1 Australia, 3 China, 4 India, 5 Japan. So we have to put tick mark on C. Question number 60. With reference to the Global Alliance for Climate Smart Agriculture, which of the following statement are correct? Global Alliance for Climate Smart Agriculture is an outcome of the Paris Climate Summit held in Paris 2015. No, member of the Global Alliance Climate Smart Agriculture does not get any binding. Yes, this is not and statutory body which like in the national level the obligations to all the party. India was instrumental in creation of Global Alliance Climate Smart Agriculture. No. So the correct answer is number 2, because this is not an agency which has an obligation to binding on all the countries. So the correct answer is 2. So you have to put tick mark on B. 61. Which of the following are the aims of the Digital India plan of the government of India? Digital India is one of the best and one of the most efficient scheme where the government of India will allow digital facility to all the citizens of India. Now we have to look the options. Formation of India's own internet companies like Synatic. No, there are lots of companies like Vodafone, Aztec. So there are lots of companies will provide a digital service in India. Establish a policy framework to encourage overseas multinational corporations that collect big data to build their large data centers within the national geographic boundaries. Yes, this is one of the main features of the digital plan of India. To is correct. Connect many of our villages to the internet and bring Wi-Fi to many of our school, public places, major tourist centers. No, there are not many villages, schools, public places, major tourist area. They are all public area, tourist area, school places will bring under the purview of the digital India. So this is not the logic one. So the correct answer is 2. So you have to put tick mark on option B. Question number 62. Consider following pairs. Town sometimes mentioned in the news and country. Aleppo, Syria, yes. Kirkuk, Yemen, no. Kirkuk is not in Yemen. Mosul in Palestine, no. Mosul is in Iraq. Mazar I Sharif is in Afghanistan. Yeah. Answer 1 and 4. So you have to put tick mark on the option B. In the federation established by the government of India 1935, executive power are given to the Governor General. Governor General has some advantage on veto and additional power. There are lots of power like education, health, etc. is given to the council of ministers, but the Governor General has some executive power to control over the financial matter on all the subjects. So the correct option is B. It is one of the simple answers UPSC asked this year 2018. Consider following statement. The Speaker of the Legislative Assembly shall vacate his/her office if he/she ceases to be a member of the Assembly. Whenever the Legislative Assembly is dissolved, the Speaker will vacate his/her office immediately. No, the Speaker will continue serve his position until the new Speaker is elected. When the assembly is dissolved, but a speaker will automatically vacate his seat when his member to the assembly will cease to operate. So the correct answer is 1. So you have to put tick mark on option A. Question number 65. Which of the following reflects the most appropriate relation between law and liberty? If there are more law, there is less liberty. No, law and liberty are totally equal. If there is no law, there is no liberty. Yes, this is the correct answer. Now we see option C. If there is liberty, law has to be made by the people. No, law is made by the governing authority of the state. If law are changed too often, liberty is danger. No, liberty is like a fundamental duty or fundamental rights, and where it is safeguarded by the constitution. So the correct answer is B. If there is no law, there is no liberty, because liberty and laws are almost equal in matters. 66. Consider the following statement. No criminal proceedings shall be instituted against the governor of a state in any court during his term of office. Yes, no any criminal procedure, IPC, CRPC should be initiated against any governor during his office in any court during he is in service of any state as a governor. The emoluments and allowance of a governor of a state shall not be diminished during his term of office. Yes, the governor privileges, emoluments, salaries should not be diminished, shouldn't be restricted to a limited person during his term of office. So the correct answer is 1 and 2. So you have to put tick mark on C. Next 67. The well-known painting Bani Thani belongs to Bondhi School, Jaipur School, Kangaroo School, Kisangori School. What is the thermal high altitude area defense system? Sometimes seen in the news. Option is A. Israeli radar system, India's indigenous anti-missile program, American anti-missile system, defense collaboration between Japan and South Korea. Third is one of the most sophisticated anti-missile system in the world, which is operated by the USA. Now it is placed in South Korea some month ago by the USA to counter ballistic missile program of the North Korea. So the correct answer is C. And also it is a great friends between China and the USA, because the high radar system will cover almost 500 km in depth of China, due to which it challenged the sovereignty of China, because that is one of the greatest sophisticated anti-ballistic missile system in the world, which is developed by the China, like S-400 from Russia. 69. With reference to the cultural history of India, consider following statement. Most of the tragic treaties are devotional songs in praise of Lord Krishna. Tyagis created several new ragas. Number 2. Anansarya and Tyagiraja are contemporaries. No. Anandmachirya Kirtanas are devotional songs in praise of Lord Venkateswara. The correct answer is 1 and no, 1 is not correct. The correct answer is 2 and 4. Tyagiraja created 7 new raga. Anandmachirya Kirtanas are devotional songs in praise of Lord Venkateswara. So the correct answer is 2 and 4. Now we have to put tick mark on option B. Next 70. Which of the following are regarded as the main features of the rule of law? Rule of law is one of the greatest criteria in modern democracy. Any country in recent times is governed by the rule of law, because the rule of law is one of the main criteria to form any government under new saga, and constitution is always prefer rule of law than any group of any elect person, any king, monarchy, hierarchy preferences. So now see number 1, limitation of power, equality before law, people responsibility to the government, liberty and civil right. Yes, their 3 options are right. Limitation of power, rule of law also limited the power of the government because in some cases you may see that in 2011, 2012, 2013 Arab uprising will take place due to there is no rule of law. So rule of law limited the power of the government, like in case of USA and India, in where government has some restriction to safeguard the people's liberty. So number one is correct. Equality before law. Yes, this is the logical rule of law. Equality before all law. People responsibility to the government. No, this is not the logical one. Government is always responsible to the people, not people responsible to the government. Civil and liberty rights. Yes, rule of law always give the citizens of that country civil and liberty rights. So the correct answer is C, 1 to 4. Now question number 71. With reference to the Indian Regional Navigation Satellite System IRNSS, consider following statement. IRNSS has 3 satellites in geostationary and 4 satellites in the geosynchronous orbit. Yes, IRNSS has 3 satellites in geostationary and 4 satellites in the geosynchronous orbit. IRNSS covers entire India and about 5,500 square kilometers beyond its border. No, this is not the system of IRNSS. India will have its own satellite navigation system with full global coverage by middle of 2019. No, India has yet to develop any kind of satellite which cover all the area of the globe. The global satellite is developed by US and Russia, and there is no third country to develop any kind of satellite which cover all areas of the globe. So the correct answer is number 1. So to put tick mark on A. Consider the following phenomena. Light is affected by gravity. Yes. The inverse is constantly expanding. Yes. Inverse is always constantly expanding because the Big Bang theory will say that matter wraps in sounding space-time. Yes, matter is also wraps in sounding space-time, due to which the space-time is constantly expanding. So the correct answer is 1, 2, 3. So to put tick mark on option D. Now question number 73. With reference to the genetically modified mustard, GM mustard, developed in the considered following statement. So we look the options. GM mustard, genetically modified mustard, has the genes of soil bacteria that give the plant that property of pest resistance to a wide variety of pests. GM mustard has genes that allow the plant cross-pollination and hybridization. Yes, this is the main answer of this question, because genetically modified GM is always said that cross-pollination and hybridization, and this is the logic of genetically modified. We always see that the meaning of genetically modified, what kind of attribute will say genetically modified. We have to see, analyze and deeply what is genetically modified. Due to this we put a tick mark on 2, because the correct answer is 2, and genetically modified says cross-pollination and hybridization. Also we look on 3. GM mustard have been deployed jointly by the IARI, then the Bansu Egg Research Institute and Punjab Agriculture University. No, the correct answer is GM mustard has genes that allow the plant cross-pollination and hybridization. So the correct answer is 2. So you have to put tick mark on option B. Consider the following pairs. Sometimes seeing the news context topic, value to experiment artificial intelligence. No, blockchain technology digital. Yeah, blockchain technology is digital currency. CRISPR assistant physics, particle physics. No, the correct answer is blockchain technology is in the news in recent times due to there are lots of controversy over Bitcoin and ETH coin, particularly in India. So the correct answer is 2. So to put tick mark on option B. Now question number 75. Which of the following statement best describes carbon fertilization increased plant growth due to increased concentration of carbon dioxide in the atmosphere? Yes, increased temperature are due to increased concentration of carbon dioxide in the atmosphere. Increased acidity of oceans as a result of increased concentration of carbon dioxide in the atmosphere. Adaptation of all living beings on Earth to the climate change brought about by increased concentration of carbon dioxide in the atmosphere. The correct answer is number A, because carbon fertilization increased plant growth due to increased concentration of carbon dioxide in the atmosphere. So you have to put tick mark on number A. Assembly 6. When the alarm of your smartphone rings in the morning, you wake up and take it to stop the alarm, which causes your desire to the switch on automatically. This is the logic questions. The smart mirror in your bathroom shows the day's weather and also indicates the level of water in your overhead tank. After you take some groceries from your refrigerator for making breakfast, it recognizes the shortage of stock in it and place an order for the supply of fresh grocery items. When you step out of your house and lock the door, alright, fan, geysers and AC machines get switched off automatically. On the way to office, your car warns you that your traffic congestion ahead and suggests the alternative route. If you are late for a meeting, it sends a message to your office accordingly. In the context of the emerging communication technology, which of the following terms best applies to the above scenario? Border Gateway Protocol, Internet of Things, Internet Protocol, Virtual Private Networking. This is the correct answer, option B. We have seen the Internet of Things in the movie and sometimes in the news. So we have the correct answer is Internet of Things. Now question number 77. With reference to the solar power production in India, consider the following statement. India is the third largest country in the world in the manufacturing of silicon wafers used in photovoltaic unit. No, India is not the third largest country in the world in the manufacturing of silicon wafer used in the photovoltaic units. So this is not the correct answer. The solar power tariff are determined by the Solar Energy Corporation of India. No, there is any mechanism for solar tariff in India because solar power is yet to be developed in India in commercial basis. So the correct answer is D. The two option is not has any connection to this question. 78. The stable commodity of export by the English East India Company from Bengal to the middle of the 19th century were raw cotton, oilseeds, opium, sugar, salt, zinc, lead, copper, silver, gold, spices, and tea. Cotton, silk, saltpeter, and opium. British exported from India to Britain is cotton, silk, opium, and saltpeter. So the correct answer is D. Now 79. Which of the following is a very significant aspect of the Champagne movement? Champagne Satyagraha. It happened in 1916. All active all India participation, lawyers, students, and women in the national movement. The Champagne movement is regarded to indigo in Bihar. Indigo production in Bihar. It is related to peasant movement. In March 11 in Champagne in the form of Satyagraha. The active involvement of Dalit and tribal communities in India national level. No joining of peasant unless in Indian national movement. Drastic decrease in the cultivation of plantation crops and commercial crops. So Champagne movement is related to peasant in where the indigo production is going down and the British imposed high tax, and later they are compelled to obey the demand from the peasant in which peasants have to pay the dues. They can pay due, otherwise other peasants need not to pay dues due to lower cultivation of indigo. So the correct answer is C, joining of peasant unless to India's national movement. Now question number 80. Which among the following were the founders of the Hindu Mazdoor Sabha established in 1948? B. Krishna Pillai, E.M.S. Namboodir Ripat, and K.C. George, Jayaprakash Nayak, Dindal Upadhyay, M.N. Roy, C.P. Ramesh Iyer, K. Camaras, and V. Salingam Patalu, Ashok Mehta, T.S. Ramanujan, J.G. Mehta. So the correct answer is D. With reference to the religious practices of India, the Thanavasis sect belongs to always belongs to Jainism. So the correct answer is Jainism. It is not for Buddhism, Vaishnavism, and Shaivism. Thanavasis belongs to Jainism. So the correct answer is B. So we put tick mark on B. With reference to the cultural history of India, consider the following statement. White marble was used in making Buland towers and Khanka at Fatehpur Sikri. Red sandstone and marble were used in making Para, Imanpara and Rumini doors at Lucknow. The correct answer is A. White marble is used in Buland Darwaza and Khanka at Fateh Sikri. It is not in red stone in Darwaza Lucknow, Rumi Darwaza Lucknow, Bara Imam. So the correct answer is 1. So we put tick mark on A. 83. Which of the following foreign traveler elaborately discussed about diamond mines in India? Princess Berner, Jean Baptiste Taverner, Jean de Tibanot, Barthélemy Carrés. The correct answer is Jean Baptiste Tavernier. Is the foreign traveler to elaborate discuss about diamond mining in India. 84. With reference to the Indian history, who among the following is the future of Buddha yet to save the world? This is the correct answer is Maitri. Maitri is yet to come to the world according to Buddhist philosophy, who saved the world. So the correct answer is C. It is not Lokeshvara, Apollo, Kitasvara and Padmapani. The correct answer is Maitri. Next, 85. Which of the following statement does not apply to the system subsidy alliance introduced by Lord Dalhousie to maintain large standing army at other expense? British always try to form large army on the expense of colonial power and the gain of wealth from the colony. So this is not against the Lord Wallis's subsidy alliance to keep India safe from Napoleonic danger. Yes, this is not against the Lord Wallis's subsidy alliance. They always try to save their colony from Napoleonic and communist regimes to secure fixed income for the company. No, the Napoleon does not fix any level to the company to income from their colony. So the correct answer is C. Also, we see that D, to establish British paramountship over the Indian stabilities, always try to lay their supremacy over any colony, like in case of India. So the correct answer is B. This is not the fact of the subsidy alliance. They always try to best to squeeze out any kind of commodity from the colony. So the logic is that to secure fixed income for the colony. This is not the matter related to subsidy alliance introduced by the Lord Wallis. Next, 86. Capital adequacy ratio CAR is the amount that banks have to maintain in the form of their own funds to offset any loss that banks incur if the account holders pay to repeat use. CAR is decided by individual bank. No, the correct answer is 1. Capital adequacy ratio is the amount that banks have to maintain in the form of their own funds to offset any loss that banks incur if the account holders fail to repay. So we have to put it on A. 87. The Identity Platform Aadhaar provides an application program interface API which does not imply it can be integrated into any electronic device. No, Aadhaar card is not integrated to any kind of electronic device. Of online authentication using iris possible. Iris is the system in where Aadhaar system will be restored. So the correct answer is 2. So we have to put tick mark on the option B. Very recently, in which of the following countries have lakhs of people either suffered from severe famine, acute malnutrition, or died due to starvation caused by the war ethnic conflicts? Angola, Zambia, Morocco, Tunisia, Venezuela, Colombia, Yemen, and Sudan. The correct answer is Yemen and Sudan. There is a civil war takes place in South Sudan and Yemen. So due to civil war, there are lots of malnutrition, acute famine, and there are many kinds of starvation takes place in Yemen and South Sudan. So the correct answer is D. Now 89. Regarding wood despatch, which of the following statement are true? Guns in aid was introduced. Yes, wood despatch always do for educational system. Lots of university will be established from the government initiative. Guns in aid system was introduced. Yes, establishment of universities was recommended. Yes, English as a medium of instruction at all levels of education was recommended. No, English was not the medium of instruction at all level by the scheme would disperse only works for the establishment of education institution in the form of grants and aid and establishment of universities. So the correct answer is 1 and 2. So you have to put tick mark on option A. 90. With reference to the Parliament of India, which of the following parliamentary committee scrutinizes and reports to the House whether the powers to make regulations, rules, sub-rules, bylaws, etc. conferred by the Constitution or delegated by the Parliament are being properly exercised by the executive within the scope of such delegation. Option is Committee on Government Assurance, Committee on Subordinate Legislation, Rules of Committee, Business Advisory Committee. Committee on Subordinate Legislation is the correct answer. So you have to put tick mark on option B. Committee of Subordinate Legislation is the committee in where scrutinizes and reports to the House in case of sub-rules, bylaws, regulation, rules which is conferred by the Constitution or delegated by the Parliament. So the correct answer is B. These rules are properly executed by the executive within the preview of the Constitution. Delegation is also scrutinized by subordinate legislation. 91. As per Right to Education Act, to be eligible for appointment as a teacher in a state, a person would be required to possess the minimum qualification laid down in the concerned State Council of Teacher Education. No, this is not a criteria. Teacher qualification is for selection of a teacher is imposed by the government gazette. As per the RT Act, for teaching primary classes, a candidate is required to pass a teacher eligibility test conducted in accordance with the National Council of Teacher Education guidelines. Yes, in any state, the teacher had to be qualified teacher eligibility test for appointing teacher in any school. Yes, in India, more than 90% of teacher education institutions are directly under the state government. No, there are lots of schools, lots of universities, lots of colleges will also under the preview of the central government. No, there is no 90%. There are so many percentage which is under the preview of central government. So the correct answer is 2. So to put tick mark on option B. 92. Consider following statement: tradition and state. Chapar Kut Festival Mizoram, Kokjom Parva Balat Manipur, Thangta Dance Sikkim. The correct answer is Thangta Dance Sikkim and the correct answer is Kokjom Parva Balat from Manipur and Kapsar Kut Festival from Mizoram. So you have to put tick mark on option B. Now question number 93. The Food Safety and Standard Act replace the Prevention of Food Adulteration Act. Yes, Prevention of Food Adulteration is amended, and again Food Safety and Security Act was passed in 2006. The Food Safety and Standard Authority of India (FSSAI) is under the charge of Director General of Health Services in the Indian Ministry of Health and Family Welfare. No, this is not the answer. This is another Home Ministry and Food Processing Ministry. Food Safety and Standard Authority of India (FSSAI). The correct answer is Food Safety and Standard Act 2006 is under the provision of food security, food adulteration. Yes, Food Adulteration Act of 1954. So to put tick mark on A. Now question number 94. The term twisted solution is sometimes mentioned in the news in the context of affairs of China, Israel, Iraq, and Yemen. The twisted solution is utilized in the context of Israel. Previously, it was applied in the case of Iraq, which is very successful one by the Obama administration. Now, twisted nation theory is utilized in Israel and Palestine course by the Trump administration. 95. With reference to the provisions made under the National Food Security Act 2013, I also the following statement: the families coming under the category below poverty line are eligible to receive subsidized food grains. No, this is not the correct answer. Below poverty line, also above poverty line will get national food security schemes benefit. The eldest woman in a household of age 18 years above or above shall be head of the household for the purpose of insurance of a ration card. Yes, pregnant women and lactating mothers are entitled to take home ration of 1600 calories per day during pregnancy or for 6 months thereafter. No, this is not a fact. There are lots of scheme for pregnant women like Indodonos, and there are many state facilities like Mamoni. So this is not the correct answer, and 1 is also not the correct answer. The correct answer is 1. The eldest woman of the family is the head of the family in order to give the issuance of a ration card to that family. So the correct answer is 2. So you put tick mark on option B. Now question number 96. India enacted geographical indication of goods Registration and Protection Act 1999 is in order to complete the applications of the World Trade Organization. So the correct answer is World Trade Organization. World Trade Organization is the agency which is measure and oblique to any state party in case of registration and protection of any kinds of goods and services. So the correct answer is D. So we put tick mark on option D. Question number 97. Consider the following statement. In India, state government do not have the power to auction non-coal mines. Andhra Pradesh and Jharkhand do not have coal mines. Yes, Andhra Pradesh and Jharkhand have lots of coal mines in India. In India, state government do not have the power to auction non-coal mines. Yes, the state government have the power to auction any non-coal mines like oil field. Rajasthan has iron mines. No, Rajasthan has no any kind of reserve for iron. So the correct answer is C. So to put tick mark on option D. Now we have question number 98. With reference to the digital payment, consider following statement. Bhim apps always the transfer money to anyone with a UPI enabled bank account. Yes, Bhim app is one of the greatest app in where we can transfer money with the application called UPI. While number 2, wireless shipping. Yes, wireless shipping debit card has 4 factors of authentication. Bhim app has only 2 factors of authentication. No, Bhim is always app which has 4 authentication like shipping debit card. So the option 2 is not correct. The correct one is option 1. So we put tick mark on option A. Now we have 99. Among the following cities, which one lies the longest close? Which one on the longitude closest to that of Delhi? The option is Bangalore, Hyderabad, Nagpur, and Pune. The correct option is Bangalore. Bangalore is the city in where longitude is closest to that of our capital city, New Delhi. So we have to put tick mark on option A. Now we have last question number 100. International Labour Organization Convention 138 and 152 are related to option child labor, adaptation of agricultural practices to global climate change, regulation of food price and food security, gender parity at the workplace. The correct answer is child labor. International Labour Organization is always say for labor rights. So there is the option word called labor. So the correct one is child labor. International Labour Organization Conventions Article 138 and 182 says for child labor, because this is the labor organization. It is not for gender purity, regulation of food prices, adaptation of agricultural practices to global climate change. The correct answer is labor, child labor, and it deals with 138, 182 of the International Labour Organization Convention. So we have to put tick mark on option A of the last questions 100. So thank you.